Chia, calmly. Welcome to Love for Beginners. Today, we're exploring a question that stands behind almost every human experience. Is loneliness a problem, or is it a growth phase? And what happens when this part of life becomes confusing, missing, or difficult to understand? Let's get into it. Loneliness is often misunderstood because people use the word for many different experiences. Sometimes loneliness means a painful feeling of being unseen, unsupported, or disconnected from others. Sometimes it simply means being alone for a while, without noise, pressure, or constant attention. These two things are not the same. A person can sit alone in a quiet room and feel peaceful. Another person can be surrounded by classmates, coworkers, friends, or even family, and still feel lonely. That is why loneliness cannot be measured only by counting how many people are around us. What matters is whether we feel connected in a meaningful way. Modern psychology and public health make an important distinction between loneliness and social isolation. Social isolation usually means having few relationships or little contact with other people. Loneliness is more personal. It is the distress that comes when the connection we want does not match the connection we actually feel. This means loneliness is not weakness, and it is not proof that someone is unlovable. It is a signal. Like hunger tells the body it needs food, loneliness can tell the mind and heart that something important is missing: belonging, safety, understanding, or emotional closeness. So, is loneliness a problem? The honest answer is, it can be. When loneliness becomes long-term and painful, it can affect a person's well-being. Health organizations have linked poor social connection with higher risks for stress, anxiety, depression, sleep problems, heart disease, stroke, dementia, and earlier death. These findings do not mean that every lonely day is dangerous. They mean that chronic disconnection matters. Human beings are social by nature. We develop through relationships, learn through relationships, and often recover through relationships. When connection is missing for too long, life can become harder to handle. But loneliness is not always only a problem. Sometimes it can also become a growth phase. This depends on what the loneliness is doing in a person's life. If it pushes someone into shame, fear, or complete withdrawal, it can become harmful. But if it helps a person slow down, reflect, understand their needs, and choose healthier relationships, it can become part of growth. The difference is not in being alone. The difference is in what happens inside that time alone. There is a healthy kind of solitude. Solitude is chosen time with yourself. It can give the mind space to rest, think, create, pray, study, or understand emotions. Research on solitude suggests that time alone can reduce stress and increase a sense of autonomy when it is chosen and balanced. This is very different from feeling abandoned or cut off. Healthy solitude says, I am with myself for a while. Painful loneliness says, I feel like I do not matter to anyone. One can support growth, the other needs care and attention. This matters deeply in relationships. Many people enter love without first understanding their own loneliness. Some people become afraid of being alone, so they attach too quickly. They may ignore red flags, accept poor treatment, or stay in relationships that do not feel safe, simply because being alone feels worse. Other people react in the opposite way. They protect themselves by avoiding closeness. They may tell themselves they do not need anyone, when in reality they are trying not to feel rejection. In both cases, loneliness can shape how people attach, choose, and protect themselves. This is why loneliness deserves honest attention before a relationship begins. It can reveal important questions. Do I want this person because I truly value them, or because I am afraid of being alone? Do I avoid people because I enjoy peace, or because closeness feels unsafe? Do I know what kind of connection I need, or am I just trying to escape discomfort? These questions are not about judging yourself. They are about understanding your patterns. And understanding your patterns is one of the first steps toward healthier love. For young people, loneliness can feel especially confusing. School, social media, friendship groups, and comparison can make it seem as if everyone else belongs somewhere. But loneliness is common among adolescents and young adults. It can happen during changes in school, family life, friendships, identity, or confidence. It can also happen when someone has many online contacts but few people they can truly talk to. That does not make the feeling imaginary. Online interaction can be useful, but human beings still need relationships where they feel safe, respected, and genuinely heard. A helpful way to think about loneliness is to ask whether it is temporary, informative, or persistent. Temporary loneliness may appear after a move, a breakup, a conflict, or a change in routine. Informative loneliness tells you something important, such as, I need deeper friendships, I need to communicate more honestly, or I have been hiding too much of myself. Persistent loneliness stays for a long time, affects daily life, and makes it difficult to function, trust, sleep, study, work, or enjoy normal activities. That kind of loneliness should not be ignored. It is a sign to seek support from a trusted person, family member, teacher, counselor, or health professional. The goal is not to fear loneliness, and it is not to celebrate it blindly. The goal is to understand it. Loneliness becomes dangerous when it convinces a person that they are the problem, that nobody will understand them, or that they must accept any relationship just to avoid being alone. But loneliness can become useful when it helps a person notice what they truly need. It can teach someone the difference between attention and connection, between being wanted and being respected, between having company and feeling safe. Healthy connection does not require popularity. A person does not need hundreds of friends to feel less lonely. Often, a few reliable relationships are more meaningful than many shallow ones. One honest conversation, one dependable friend, one caring adult, or one safe community can make a real difference. The quality of connection matters more than the number of contacts. This is important because many people compare their lives to what they see online, where connection can look bigger, louder, and happier than it really is. So, is loneliness a problem or a growth phase? It can be either. It becomes a problem when it is chronic, painful, and isolating. It can become a growth phase when it helps you understand yourself, build emotional strength, and choose better relationships. The key is not to stay trapped in it. Listen to what loneliness is telling you. Use solitude when it helps you grow. Reach out when loneliness starts to hurt. And remember this, needing connection does not make you weak. It makes you fully human. Thank you for watching Love for Beginners. Every relationship starts with understanding, both ourselves and the people around us. If you want to explore more topics like this, support the channel by subscribing and leaving a like. Until next time, pause.